Hey, it's JB. I'm doing the Q&A video today, and I just wanted to get it all done right away because I didn't want it to be really overwhelming and too filled with too much information all at one go. I had a Nirvana Hank write in a couple questions. How do you do a simple face? What do you do with your cheeks? How do you deal with your cheeks? Actually, when I read this, I did kind of laugh. But there is a difference between a simple face and just doing nothing. A simple face, it's that little bit of a smile, it's doing nothing at all. It is what separates a model from just somebody who's maybe the first time in front of a camera. So I get this guy's smart aleck question, but I am trying to cover the very basics to help out those new to the industry. So thanks for that. Other questions. Somebody asked me, what are signs that an agency just isn't right for you? And a lot of the time models deal with agencies telling you why you're not right for them. This is a really good question because there are some things that are red flags. I've walked into an agency before where they look at my portfolio, they really show interest in me, and they basically say I'm perfect, except maybe I just need a few classes for runway walk, and then they'll sign me. However, they never asked to see my runway walk. To me, that's a sign that they're just not going to be right for me because I feel like they're coming after me for money without giving me their full attention. I've also had it where, and this probably won't come up, but I've had sexual innuendos, so I know to walk away from that too. Basically, any fees that come up will scare me away right away. If they poke at my weight in a way that I thought was distasteful, I will walk away. And I've had one agency not show interest in me until I brought it up to a girlfriend photographer from another city, and she was close to this agency. She phones them up, and now because she dropped her name, they're willing to represent me. Something like that, I would walk away even though I got my in, because he didn't like me enough to just accept me as I am. So I think if there's a job with a model that he really likes and me, he's always going to push for that other model. So something like that would be a red flag and signs that an agency just isn't right for you as opposed to the other way around. Tips and experiences I have for applying online was a question I got, and I've said it in another video where if you send images that are too photoshopped, I've had agencies completely bypass my portfolio because the first 3 pictures that I've sent are very photoshopped. If you can't see the texture on your skin, then they generally think maybe there's acne, maybe there's wrinkles. So if you go online and submit your image, a lot of the times all they ask for are Polaroids, which are just really simple, no makeup, profile shots, which is that, head on, full length, 3/4, the works. I tend to think that's not enough for them to truly see that I am a good model, so rather than just submit on their one form, I will take the email address and send them what they require along with a few really crisp, nice shots. And when I say a few, I probably overdo it with like 10, but I like to just make sure that I've got as much information out there as possible. Are there tips for models of average height? And this one really speaks to me because I am of average height. There is not much you can do for tips. You can wear heels, but I've walked into an agency where they can look at me and be like, you're 5'7", and they could look at me and know my bust, waist, hips. So you can't really trick the really good agencies, but that's why I tell everybody to show up with a portfolio, because then it shows them that you are working regardless of the situation, that you could work without an agency. Imagine how good you could work with an agency. It's not a good tip, but if you think that your height, your weight, things like that are counterproductive to your image, a lot of models don't talk. The more talkative and personable you are, the better off you are. There's a small chance that they take pity on you based on being relatable or something just about you that's a spark that they couldn't get just visually. Is it typical for agencies to not allow over 21? I've seen it recently in Australia, an age gap of 14 between 20. To me, this is not so typical, but it is out there. How do you deal with agencies that don't want people over 21? I would still submit and just not include my age. They're gonna ask, but hey, if they're asking, they're interested in you. And if they actually don't ask, then they were gonna bypass on you regardless anyways, even if you were 19 probably, because it's your luck. The models, my friends that are overseas, they're generally my age. They're over 25, where, you know, certain models in the industry say your business is over, and they're still doing okay. So it's not a end-all deal breaker. The only thing is, the older you are, the more difficult it is when your age does come up, just like your height. These are just hurdles that you have to jump through and know that you're gonna run into a lot more walls than the average person. But if you don't push for yourself, who will? And if you made it big, then you're gonna inspire somebody else that's more of a typical beauty, not the standard of beauty. And to just inspire one person that breaks the mold is a start in this industry. Somebody asked me, where do you start when you develop a portfolio? How do you arrange photo shoots without spending money? The term is called TFP. It means time for print, or back in the day, TFCD, time for CD. What you gotta do is you gotta make sure that when you agree to these types of photo shoots, basically you both are spending time, the photographer and the model, to get a finished product. Photographers generally cost money, models generally cost money, so you guys are agreeing to do it for free for the prints. However, a lot of photographers only send low-res images, which, if you want a printed portfolio, is not going to be worthy of blowing up. It's going to look all pixelated. So what I do ahead of time, if I was to ever do a photo shoot like this, is be really clear that I want, say, on the large photo, and it's got to be, I had somebody ask what size is appropriate for your portfolio. The answer is 9x12. A photographer will send you low-res images with a watermark, and you're going to use that online, and it's going to promote them as well as yourself. And if it's online, if it's on Facebook, whatever, you don't care about that watermark. But if it's for your portfolio, you want it without that watermark, and your portfolio is strictly for you and agencies. So the photographer's generally not that phased. But make sure that you and that photographer have an understanding that you know when you're gonna get those prints. I've had photographers wait a year to give me pictures, and in a year, a lot can change. My hair can change, you can gain 10 pounds, you can lose 10 pounds, so you want them to be current. So before you do a TFP situation, make sure you know how long it's gonna take to get the images, if you get to choose any images, how many images, and that you get high res and low res. I've had quite a few people at this point ask me to go through their portfolio and pick out images that I think are good and a start to a strong portfolio. And although I love supporting everyone, it gets kind of overwhelming. So I'll post right up here a video of what you need for your portfolio, and hopefully that kind of helps deal with that, as well as for people wondering how to get started in modeling. Post that right around here somewhere. And elsewise, I had some really good suggestions on things that I could do. Somebody asked for a video demoing the runway walk, and as soon as I find a really nice, well-lit corridor, sounds like a plan. I'll give you guys my tips on that. Mind you, I am more of a commercial model, so it doesn't always come up. And then I've also had people ask me, I think I've had 4 people inquire about how to do poses while lying down. When you do flow posing and you're lying down and it's more geared towards glamour and sexy, then it starts to look a little pornographic when I film it, and my brother will not like it. So I'm trying to find a nice middle ground on how to do this while coming off classy. So I'll try to get on those ideas within this next month coming up. Also, the person who asked me the size in your portfolio, if you have a tear sheet, what a tear sheet is an image of you that's been published in a magazine that you can tear right out of that magazine and stick it into your book. If you have one of those, doesn't matter what size it is, just shove that in your book because that is proof that you are a working model. And elsewise, I'm really loving all of the support, the compliments, of course, because I'm a girl, photographers saying that even though some of the videos that I used to make were kind of grainy and really bad, that they still really appreciate it because once they got over that, it was really good information. And Model Mayhem for sharing my videos with all the up-and-comers. And keep the questions coming. I love them. I love the support. And I hope I'm inspiring some of you younger ladies out there not to take no for an answer and to stand your ground.